All right, good day, everyone. I'm Joshua Weisel here in the Weather 225 Storm Studios, and what we've got for you today is at least a little bit more of a consistent forecast. We're going to be expecting those warm temperatures to obviously continue over the next several weeks, as we are in summer after all. But there's also going to be some low rain chances once again today, maybe again tomorrow. And then we've got some additional rain chances. But the good news is no washouts are expected. There'll just be a couple of opportunities to let you know about. Otherwise, mostly quiet besides a couple rain chances. The other thing too, summer heat's about to crank up. So if you thought it was warm now, there's a chance it could be, considerably warmer going forward here in the near future. So let's go ahead and walk you through the forecast for today. The only difference between this forecast this morning and by the time we get to the afternoon update is we did bump up some of those temperatures by a couple degrees in northwest Arkansas and in the River Valley and even into portions of Oklahoma. A little bit more consistent in southwest Missouri. We're expecting the upper 80s. Overall forecast today, upper 80s, maybe some lower to mid 90s in the River Valley, lower 90s in the Oklahoma county coverage areas. So that's a look at what we got for the afternoon highs. There will be a chance for some isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms once again today. It's not going to be as numerous in some locations like we saw in parts of the area yesterday, and we're not expecting really any sort of organized severe weather today, but that doesn't mean that there won't be, of the scattered activity that we do see today, maybe one or two of those reaching some strong limits, and we're talking winds of 40 to 55 miles an hour, maybe some hail penny to nickel size. But the other thing too, there could be a couple of storms that just push right at the severe limits. It won't be lasting very long with the severe limits, but it will maybe lead to some issues in some locations. So no widespread severe weather, but I can't rule out a couple of isolated thunderstorms, maybe on the stronger to slightly severe end of the scale. Here's a look at what we got for overnight tonight. Once again, basically upper 60s, lower, even some mid 70s for some parts of the area. It's going to be anywhere from 68 to 75 degrees for the morning lows tomorrow across the region. So with that being said, we'll show you the Foghorns morning fog outlook here in just a little bit. We did see some patchy fog in some locations, southwest Missouri, parts of northwest Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma. Nothing widespread, but when you get some of these cooler temperatures in some of the areas across the region, that leads to some slightly reduced visibility. No major issues. We'll show you where here in just a second. The severe weather risk for today, no highlighted areas today. The algorithm's not picking up anything, and also the Storm Prediction Center, the algorithm kind of puts both together, and that's why we have this scale that's unique to our media. Right now, even though there's no highlighted area, just, based off of, experience and kind of my gut feeling today, I'm not going to completely rule out, like we said, maybe one or two storms that could reach slightly strong to maybe sub-severe limits. And what I mean by sub-severe is storms that are, can't talk right now, apparently. Excuse me for that. Winds of 58 miles an hour or greater, if it's actively producing it or it looks capable of that, that's right around the severe limits. It's 58 mile per hour winds or greater, or hail quarter-sized or larger. That's what you need for a severe thunderstorm warning. Could we get a couple of storms close to those limits? It's possible, but we're not expecting widespread severe weather. So that's why it's not going to show up here on the algorithm. But like I said, can't rule out maybe one or two of those, maybe some gusty winds and some small hail. Regional rain chances, pretty much the same thing that we've seen over the last several days. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be anything in Oklahoma, but the greater rain chances are going to be southwest Missouri and all of our Arkansas coverage area. That's just where some of the better ingredients and, a little bit better triggering mechanisms for storms in general are going to be located. That's not to say that we won't see a couple pop-up showers and storms in Oklahoma. It just means, of the county coverage area, greater chances further to the east where you see those blues, purples, and even pinks. And this is backed up too by the Weather Prediction Center's precipitation outlook, and it shows all of the precipitation chances mostly to the east. Again, it doesn't mean that it's going to be dry completely and no activity in Oklahoma, but there will be greater rain chances and greater rain totals further to the east where we just have the better ingredients at play. So that's a look at what we got there. Now let's get into the morning fog outlook from Foghorns. This is the Foghorns morning fog outlook. And again, I say this every show, but I just want to show my appreciation to them. Be sure that you support them like they support us. They got locations in Fayetteville and in Springdale. Huge shout out to them. So thankful to have them here on the channel. And, it's an important segment because, for morning commuters, you're kind of curious, is there going to be reduced visibility, anything along the lines there? The answer for tomorrow morning is going to be similar to the last couple of mornings. Some of those areas that see cooler temperatures, maybe around parts of Fayetteville, it's not going to be widespread dense fog tomorrow morning. We're not expecting widespread reduced visibility, anything along the lines there. But you could have some patchy spots in parts of northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, and far northeast Oklahoma. So that's a look at what we got there. Some of those areas that you see on the board where it shows the map underneath it, that means that there's really no activity that's expected. So that's a look at the Foghorns Morning Fog Outlook. Huge shout out to Foghorns for sponsoring the channel, an Arkansas original since 2004. Alrighty, quick update to the drought. And again, these update every Thursday. So if you've been tuning in, there's no major changes, but I know we've had a lot of viewers that are surging onto the channel over the last couple of weeks. And so I just want to make sure that we were covering all of our bases. And huge shout out to everyone that's following the channel. We're so thankful for y'all. That's one of the best ways you can support us is by liking and sharing all of our content. And several of you share all of our posts. And we're so thankful for you because you're getting our outreach out there so we can help more people with these forecast updates, weather coverage, all that. So huge shout out to you at home. So if you're just now tuning into these broadcasts and, you may have, some work in, farming or outdoors where the drought would be of concern, as of Thursday, this is the latest drought outlook. And, it doesn't feel real to see moderate to extreme drought in some locations. You're kind of scratching your head and you're going, well, that doesn't make sense. We've had all this rain, right? Well, unfortunately, not enough to beat the drought. We'll have to wait and see with additional rain chances. Maybe if we can get that extreme out of the coverage area, especially because some of those southeast counties did see some rain yesterday, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to completely beat the drought. Future scan radar. Notice future scan showing greater coverage in Arkansas, southwest Missouri, far eastern Oklahoma. That's to be expected, kind of what all the forecasting is calling for. But keep in mind, some of this activity today and tomorrow, yes, take a look at that. That's going to be another possibility again tomorrow. With the kind of random pop-ups, it's a little bit harder for future scan radar to really get a good lock on the activity. And so don't take it exactly or completely literal when you see, oh yeah, no, Fort Smith has a shower here at this time. That's not exactly how it's going to happen. The models, think of, AI, it's a part of all of our lives, whether or not we like it. And, if you've ever tried getting it to make a picture for you and it's never exactly correctly what you're thinking of, you're going to ask it, hey, can you make a picture of a tree with, green leaves and, orange leaves, make it look like fall. You may have an idea in your head, and then when AI makes the image, you're kind of going, okay, well, that wasn't exactly what I was thinking of, but it was close, right? That's what the models do, is they put together all the ingredients and they kind of, prompt a forecast. And when it puts that out there, it's a guess, or its interpretation of the ingredients. So you kind of look at that as a forecaster and you go, okay, well, I'm thinking it's going to do this. The models are saying this. You kind of have to go off of both. And so that's, the model's depiction with the ingredients of what could happen, but it's not an exact science. So it's not going to be exactly that location at that time. Sorry for the rant there, but that's just kind of how the models work. So don't take it too literally when you see that. The other thing too, the morning of the 9th, there will be a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as well. We'll just have to keep an eye on that activity. So we'll keep an eye on that. Here's a look at what we got with the extended temperature outlook. And you can see well above average temperatures starting to swing more into our county coverage area as time makes its way further into the 6 to 10 day outlook. The other thing too, it's looking a little bit drier. Now, for the time being, we're in the slightly above average category for temperatures and also for precipitation, but the temperatures, they're going to increase as we're looking beyond the 6 to 10 day outlook, just with the latest runs, and the 8 to 14 day outlook, which we're not showing here just because there's a little bit uncertainty the further out you go. But the precipitations are also starting to decrease with each new outlook. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll be here through all of it. We'll let you know the very latest here on Weather 225. Rain chances looking to be a little bit on the increase as we head Friday through Sunday. Only around 40 to 30%, really just depending on the day. Otherwise, temperature's a little bit of a roller coaster. Rain chances today, tomorrow, and Thursday, very isolated to slightly scattered. It just depends on the location. Not everyone's going to see rain. Not everyone's going to see storms over the next couple of days, but those who do may run into some heavy rainfall, some lightning, maybe some small hail and gusty winds. Widespread severe weather doesn't look likely over the next couple of days. So keep in mind, it's probably a good idea to have the rain gear with you just so you're not caught off guard by a couple pop-ups. They're not going to be the long-lived storms. They're just, they pop up. They're here for, a couple scans. They're here for maybe a little bit longer than that. They're not the longest-lived activity that we've seen, but it will lead to maybe some issues in some locations in terms of the rainfall activity. So here's a look at what we got for the River Valley. Triple digits by the time we get to early next week. So we got a roller coaster between the systems this weekend and then early next week when the temperatures really start to ramp up. And keep in mind, we're going to keep some of that humidity with this activity. So, depending on the location, we may start seeing more extreme heat warnings for some locations, because when you have the heat in the triple digits with the humidity, that's just going to lead to a nasty combination in terms of the heat potential, especially if you're an outdoor worker, if you do construction, contracting work, yard work, anything that includes physical labor outside. You're going to want to stay tuned to the forecast and protect yourself from the heat as we make our way into next week. Same with Northeast Oklahoma. Same deal. Upper 90s look to be likely by the time we get to early next week. Got some rain and thunderstorm chances, really just depending on the location. And then Southwest Missouri, kind of the same thing. Quick warm up by the time we get to Monday. But Sunday, not as many rain chances in parts of the area compared to others. So Southwest Missouri, not as high the rain chances compared to Northwest Arkansas, as it looks as of now. Keep in mind, further out you go, more uncertain the forecasts are going to get. But that's why we're here. We're here to update the forecast throughout the day. And as you saw between this morning and this afternoon, there was enough changes this afternoon to justify a couple, adjustments to the temperatures and some other things, even the day of. So forecasting it's an always evolving thing. Forecasts, we don't just put in a number one day and then we just let it kind of, ride the next couple of days and there's no changes. Forecasts can sometimes change several times a day. That's why we're here with these updates throughout the day. So have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, huge shout out to you at home. Thank you so much for supporting our channel by sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, following, whichever platform that you're on. It means a lot to us. We've seen a huge surge in followers and on YouTube subscribers on some of our accounts. We've also seen a lot of viewers and stuff. 300,000 of you tuned in over the last 28 days to our content across Facebook and YouTube and everything along those lines there. So, we're so thankful to have a loyal following like you, everyone that comments, and, we love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to support us, like I said, the best way to do so, share and like and follow, all of that. My personal Facebook's almost to 2,000 followers. I'm trying to get to 5,000 here by the end of the year. See if we can get there. That's the goal. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in. And stay tuned. We'll have more. There's that, and we have a little TVS there, tornado vortex signature, and that's indicative of some fairly strong rotation. With the latest state-of-the-art equipment, we can call out areas of concern ahead of the warning. And there it is. We called it here first, y'all, and we are able to show you these things in real time, and our tools, you can't beat them. We're able to show you these things as they happen before the warning even occurs.
This is coverage you won't find anywhere else. Weather coverage with Joshua Weisel in the Weather 225 Storm Studios. Weather local to you since 2015.
If you like our media and forecast, be sure to support us today on Patreon. You can advertise with us this storm season and throughout the year. Contact us today for availability and pricing. Weather 225 since 2015.